What's that? You want more content from Pallet? Well, thousands and thousands of listeners, we hear you and we are able to deliver. Allow us to introduce the newest creator in the Pallet creator team, and that is Blepnir, who is from the US East Coast. I want to say it's East. Let me know if that's wrong, Blepnir, but definitely from the US. And he is a very knowledgeable battler, highly analytical. And the thing I like most about him is he likes to explore the fringes of the meta. So he will often find stuff that people don't usually consider and make it work in standard open league battles, which is like you stand to learn a lot from that kind of analysis. At the moment, he's doing auto rec battles, and in this particular video, he does some auto rec. There are two Pokemon that keep popping up, like a lot more than just once, and he does such good work with them. Those two Pokemon, as you might have seen in the thumbnail of the video, are Shadow Magmortar and Shadow Girafarig. He's made his own content in the past about Shadow Magmortar. I know that he's made infographics for Pallet highlighting it as well. A Pokemon that I want to say is underrated. That might be an exaggeration. It might be perfectly rated. But what I've always said is that you can make most Pokemon work if you know how. And I think videos like this highlight that. So check out the video. If you want to learn more, we've got a Discord community. The link is in the description below. We all help each other learn and get better at the game. So come and join us and join the movement, join the community there. We live stream on this channel like multiple times a week, every week. There is also a schedule in the description, so check that out as well. Times listed are in US Eastern Time. And that's it from me. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Blepnir. I'm a part of the Pallet community, and today I'm going to be showing you some battles using AutoRect, which, if you don't know, is a system where you delete all of your battle parties in a specific league so that the game chooses the battle party for you. So, for example, if I was doing AutoRect in Great League, I would just delete all of my Great League battle parties, and I would use whatever it gave me. Now, I do have a few rules to make it a little bit easier on myself. If the Pokemon that the game chooses for me does not have a second move, or if it's underpowered, I will replace it with a Pokemon of the same typing. So, for example, if the game chooses a Mew for me that's only 1350 CP and only has one charge move, then I can replace it with any Psychic type. For example, I can replace it with a Shadow Girafarig, which has been absolutely my MVP this new season with the addition of Psychic Fangs. So with that in mind, I also am allowed to switch up the order of the Pokemon. So you can see here in this first matchup, I have the Galvantula in the lead, which takes neutral damage from ground-type moves, whereas both of the back two Pokemon take super effective damage from ground-type moves. Let's see how these battles go. So we're going to start out with Galvantula onto Swampert. This is not a good lead at all. The Swampert is going to be able to absolutely decimate this Galvantula with Hydro Cannon. I do have to let this go simply because the Swampert would outpace me to a second Hydro Cannon. I just have to get off this lunge and do a huge chunk of damage. This is going to put the Swampert into counter down range, but not before I take a Hydro Cannon, unfortunately. So this Hydro Cannon would be enough to take me out, even debuffed. So I have to shield it. Lucario is incredibly glassy. And they come in with a Frostlass, so that's interesting. Frostlass has an okay matchup versus Lucario, but not a great one. And the fact that they're coming into Frostlass is telling me that they have something weak to fighting in the back. And I'm thinking it's another ice type, right? I'm thinking that it is an Abomasnow, because we have seen so many Abomasnows recently this season. I actually tie the Frostlass to the charge move. I win CMP. I win charge move priority there, so I do defeat the Frostlass. I would outpace the Frostlass to the second charge move, so it's correct for them to no shield that. And they have an Abomasnow in the back. Sure enough, this Abomasnow would be able to take me out with a Weather Ball. So I know that they got to double Weather Balls there. I tried to catch the second Weather Ball, and they didn't throw it. So I thought I was a goner there for sure. However, I do get to double fire punches, and I think the reason why is because they didn't think that a weather ball would take me out. It's a pretty weak move. It's resisted. So it would have been a close thing, but you have to remember that Shadow Magmortar is one of the squishiest Pokemon that you're going to see in the Great League. So I think that they should have at least thrown the weather ball there. They definitely got to it, but they're going for an energy ball, which would have indeed been more than enough to take me out. So here we have a very interesting team composition. We have an AVA flying team with one of the squishiest flying types you can ever see in Great League in the front, Zapdos, and one of the bulkiest flying types you see in Great League, Mandibuzz, in the back. And so we're going to see how these two flying types manage to hang together and form a team. So we have Zapdos into Machamp. This is a good matchup, but look how much these counters are doing. This is a Shadow Machamp into a Shadow Zapdos. They switch into a Nidoqueen. So I throw this Drill Peck just because I want to do a big chunk of health damage here. And then I go into Scizor because the Scizor is going to be double resisting these Poison Fangs and these Poison Jabs. They did not farm up to an Earth Power. So I'm going to be able to farm all the way down here before they reach an Earth Power. They did not throw the Poison Fang. And then they come into a Pidgeot. So if I could have just done one more Bullet Punch, that would have given me a little bit of an advantage because I can safely throw one Bullet Punch for every one of the Gusts that this Pidgeot throws. However, I was anticipating them to just come back in with the Machamp, and I wanted to do some safe damage to the Machamp. The fact that they come into Pidgeot is interesting because now I know their entire team, and I actually stay in here versus their Shadow Machamp. The reason why is because this Mandibuzz is actually going to take this Rock Slide better than the Zapdos would take a Cross Chop. So even though the Rock Slide is super effective, the Cross Chop is not very effective. The Zapdos needs the shields more. And I need to get to these two charge moves. I know I can get there before they counter me down or get to a second Cross Chop. So now I throw these two charge moves. They have to shield both of them. And this is a game over because the Pidgeot is so low health. The Pidgeot takes so long to get to its charge moves that I'm just going to be able to take out this Machamp with an Aerial Ace. I was one turn away from getting Cross Chopped, but they didn't quite get to the Cross Chop. And this Pidgeot is not going to get to two charge moves. So they throw the Feather Dance here. That's no problem. I'm going to get to this Aerial Ace, and this is a GG's. So once again, even though the Shadow Zapdos took not very effective damage from the Cross Chops, and the Mandibuzz took super effective damage from the Rock Slide, I actually wanted to take the Rock Slide onto Mandibuzz, just because of the fact that I knew the Mandibuzz could take that move. And a Cross Chop would have done a lot more to the really, really glassy Shadow Zapdos. So let's see how this battle goes. We have Salazzle into Nidoqueen. This is a pretty good matchup just because of the fact that I outpaced them to the Dragon Pulse. They do have to Earth Power me, but they throw the Poison Fang. So these are very early battles. You wouldn't expect these types of plays in late battles, but I am obviously going to let the Poison Fang go. You see there, Salazzle is very squishy. So it takes the Poison Fang, it throws the Dragon Pulse, and then I am able to farm down. And I'm able to throw this Poison Fang onto Poliwrath. So the reason why I'm throwing a Poison Fang here, and I'm actually going to switch into Crustle, it's because both of my backline struggles against Poliwrath. And I'm trying to force them to switch into their third Pokemon, and you see there, it actually worked. They switched into a Talonflame. The Talonflame resigns the match just because of how much damage it's taking. Look at that. Every single one of those smackdowns just absolutely chunking the Talonflame's health. That's like 20% of its health with every single smackdown. And they made a mistake. They conceded the match. Next, we have Shadow Magmortar on the lead. We have Bastiodon and Dugong in the back. And the reason why I arranged this team this way is because both Bastiodon and Dugong are weak to fighting, But Dugong is only one time weak to fighting. Bastion is double weak to fighting. So if I want to lure out a fighting type, I switch into the Dugong so that Bastion doesn't have to see it. Let's see how these battles go. So we have Shadow Mag Mortar into Tropius. This is a good lead because the Fire Punch is going to do so much damage. And then they switch into Politoed. So I actually have to stay in here because none of my Pokemon have a particularly good matchup versus Politoed. However, I do have a secret weapon on my Shadow Mag Mortar. I have the Thunderbolt. This Thunderbolt is going to one-shot the Politoed if they let it go. And boom! They do let it go. That is beautiful, folks. So I do switch into the Dugong here. I safe swap into the Dugong in order to hopefully bait out a fighting type. However, they do not swap out. They have a Stunfisk here, but they let me get to the Icy Wind, and that is huge because now that I got to my Icy Wind, they're not going to be able to take me out in 3 Rock Slides. They need 4 Rock Slides here, and they're not going to be able to get there before I reach 2 more Icy Winds. So this second Icy Wind is coming through. I will get to the 3rd Icy Wind before they get to the 4th Rock Slide. So let's see what happens here. They throw the Rock Slide. They need 2 more Rock Slides in order to take me out. So they're going to throw this 3rd Rock Slide. It doesn't do too much. But I do switch into the Bastion here. And the reason why is because I actually recognize that the Earthquake is not going to be enough to take me out now that they are double debuffed. I am able to get to this Flamethrower. They should be at the Earthquake now. However, the Earthquake isn't enough to take me out, so I do no shield here. And they throw the Rock Slide, so it's absolutely huge that I no shielded that. And then they do throw the Earthquake here, which I expected. But once again, I do survive one Earthquake quite easily if it's double debuffed. So I get to the Flamethrower. They actually throw a Rock Slide here. This is not quite enough for an Earthquake. So I know this is a Rock Slide. I can no shield it. And at this point, they have no more fast move pressure. The Tropius is not going to be able to take down the Bastion with fast moves. So all I have to do is get to a Fire Punch here. This is going to do a lot of damage to the very bulky Tropius. So look at this. Boom! That's just a Fire Punch. It only takes 10 turns to get to, but it almost takes out the Tropius. And from here, I can just take them out with Smackdowns. These Smackdowns are going to be just absolutely chunking the Tropius. And I sneak in a Smackdown there. So they cannot get to a 3rd Leaf Blade. I should take them out in 1 more Smackdown. Sure enough, I do take them out. And that is a good game. Just recognizing there that my Bastion could take out the Tropius without worrying about fast move damage. I did just decide to take all that damage from the Stunfisk. And so here we have a team composed of ABA Psychic, we have a Cresselia in the lead, we have a Dragalge, and we have a Shadow Girafarig. So let's see how this team does. So first off, we have Cresselia into Swampert. This is a good lead because Cresselia is going to be able to one-shot this Swampert with the Grass Knots. However, this Shadow Swampert is going to be hitting very hard with these Hydro Cannons. I take the first Hydro Cannon, does about 35% of my health, and I take a little bit of time to switch into the Dragalge. But you see there, I did 2 Psycho Cuts on the Cresselia, which gave me 4 turns worth of energy, and I do end up taking the Brave Bird onto the Dragalge. So that Brave Bird really hurts the Dragalge. However, I do survive, and because I resist the Incinerates, I actually was able to threaten the Talonflame enough that they let that Aquatail go. And I win switch. They do get 2 Shadow Claws worth of damage on the Trevenant though. So I'm going to come into Girafarig because the Girafarig is going to be single resisting these Shadow Claws due to its normal and psychic typing. And it's going to be hitting for huge damage with these confusions. I am anticipating that they're going to swap out here into the Swampert. Sure enough, they swap out. But look how much this Psychic Fang does. This is a very weak move. It's just a Psychic Fangs, but it does debuff the defense. And they're forced to throw energy here. My Confusion went through. I'm going to have to take 1 more Confusion to take him out. However, I do get to the Psychic Fangs. They have to shield here because the Psychic Fangs would absolutely take them out from this range. And now my Cresselia is going to be able to take them out with a Grass Knot because of the fact that Psychic Fangs debuffed their defense. So the first Grass Knot gets blocked, and now I'm recognizing that I actually can go for the Moonblast for the super safe play. That amount of health left on the Trevenant could be taken out with a Grass Knot, but they're not going to get to 2 Seed Bombs before I get to a Moonblast. So I throw the Moonblast. That takes them out, and that is a good game. Shadow Giraffrig, once again, just showing how absolutely brutal it can be when it's able to put on the fast move pressure and the charge move pressure like that on something like a Trevenant. So here we have a team composed of Kingdra in the lead. We have a Bastiodon. And once again, we have our favorite Pokemon, the Shadow Giraffrig. Let's see how it does. We have Kingdra into Toxicroak. So this is a pretty neutral matchup. I have no choice but to stay in here because both of the back two Pokemon are very polarized with Toxicroak, right? We have one of the strongest counters to Toxicroak with the Giraffrig. We have one of the weakest opponents of Toxicroak in Bastiodon. So I had no choice but to stay in, but they actually swapped themselves. So this is telling me that they actually have something that's strong against Kingdra in the back. They come into an Azumarill, but Azumarill's matchup with Kingdra is not as one-sided as it might seem, because Kingdra is actually able to reach this Octazooka. I debuff the Azumarill right off the bat with this Octazooka. This is a 50% chance debuff. However, I do get it, and they shield the move, so that's absolutely beautiful. I am up 1 shield. I go straight into Bastiodon, and even if this is a Hydro Pump, because they are double debuffed, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage. They throw the Hydro Pump. That does maybe 35% of my health, if that. And I'm going to throw this Stone Edge. The Stone Edge would do huge damage to the Azumarill if it lands. They don't let it land, so they're scared of this Bastiodon. And I am going to shield here, actually, because I expect this to be a Hydro Pump, but the Ice Beam, that is an excellent bait there, because I really did expect the Hydro Pump. However, they actually catch onto Graveler, so I'm not sure about this play. However, I guess that they did have to switch because the Azumarill was double debuffed there. But now I'm able to switch, and this Graveler is Rock Throw, which means they're not going to be able to make it to a large move here. They just make it to a Rock Blast, which I'm easily able to survive. The Rock Throws are not enough to take me out, and I reach this Octazooka, so I'm hoping for another debuff here. Please, please, God, give me the debuff. And I do get the debuff. So now they're very low on the Azumarill. They have a ton of energy, and we know that they have Hydro Pump. So once again, instead of going into the Giraffrig, which could take the Hydro Pump neutrally, I come into the Bastiodon. And the reason why is because Bastiodon is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in Great League. Giraffrig is incredibly glassy, and so I actually do manage to survive with my Bastiodon with a little bit of health. The Bastiodon survives, and look at that. Look at those confusions on the Toxicroak. Very satisfying. The Toxicroak goes down in 2 confusions. You don't see that type of fast move pressure very often. Look how incredibly powerful this Giraffrig is. That is a good game. And so next we have a Vigoroth, we have a Shadow Metagross, and we have a Shadow Magmortar. Let's see how this team does. We have Vigoroth into Ninetales. This is a good matchup because of the counter hitting for neutral damage. It is a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales, which that's an even better matchup for the Vigoroth. But I actually decided to catch this move onto the Magmortar. And so the reason why I decided to catch that move was because the Shadow Metagross also is weak to ground types, just like the Shadow Magmortar. And Shadow Metagross is actually a little bit squishier than Shadow Magmortar even. So as much as it didn't make sense to catch the move onto Shadow Magmortar, it took it better than the Metagross. But they don't come in with a ground type. They come in with a Hypno. Let's see. They don't have a ground type because they probably would have come in here. with their ground type, if so. So let's see what they have in the back. I'm able to hit for neutral damage with that Fire Punch, which is really nice. I put them at less than 50% health. However, they are going to be able to make it to 2 moves here on the Vigoroth before I take them out. They have a shield. They throw the Fire Punch here, and the Fire Punch would have done huge damage to the Shadow Metagross. So it's really good that I'm able to take the Fire Punches here. They might have Shadow Ball as a secondary move, which they would not be able to throw on the Vigoroth because the Vigoroth resists it. So they throw another Fire Punch, and now I'm able to take out the Hypno. So I switch right into the Shadow Metagross here because my Vigoroth has so low health. And luckily I'm able to get a few bullet punches off on that Ninetales. Look how much those bullet punches do to that double super effective bullet punches onto the Ice Fairy typing there. Look at that, absolutely chunking. And so here they switch into a Cherim. The Cherim is going to take neutral damage, but the Cherim, you can see there, the Cherim is actually throwing resisted Razor Leafs onto the Shadow Metagross, and those resisted Razor Leafs are doing far more damage than those neutral damage bullet punches. Look at that. Look how squishy this Metagross is, but it just barely reaches the Meteor Mash, and because it reaches the Meteor Mash, you're going to see that this is a good game. Because the Vigoroth is able to reach this Body Slam, I'm not able to take a single Razor Leaf worth of damage here. I have to throw the Body Slam immediately. But the Vigoroth is bulky enough to actually survive through these Powder Snows. So this is a situation where the Powder Snow really costed the Alolan Ninetales. Powder Snow used to be a good move on Alolan Ninetales, but the fast move pressure just is not enough to overcome my team there. So here we have another very interesting team. We have the shiny Corsola on the lead. We have a Shadow Tyranitar, and we have a Shadow Magmortar in the back. Pretty crazy team here. Let's see how it does. We have Magmortar into Swampert. This is a terrible lead. I switch right into the Corsola, and they're staying in, which is really interesting. Let's see if they block this move here. They might not know what types of move Corsola has. It's very possible they're confused by Corsola and they actually shield. So they're worried about Corsola in the back, clearly. They're trying to keep this Swampert alive. I do no shield here, and that's because Swamperts very rarely carry Earthquake in the Great League. So I was assuming that they carried Sludge Wave. Sure enough, they go for the neutral Hydro Cannons. But after all of these Bubble Beams, Hydro Cannon's not going to do a whole lot of damage, and I'm able to reach this third Bubble Beam. So this is triple debuffed Swampert. They are going to throw their move. I'd get in a full bubble there, so that's 3 turns worth of fast move. That's huge. And look at how much that Hydro Cannon does. It does nothing versus Corsola, which is moderately bulky. It's a very decent Pokemon. So they are triple debuffed here. However, I do come into the Tyranitar for the fast move pressure, and I do have to shield here. Even though this is a triple debuffed Hydro Cannon, it would do a lot of damage versus this incredibly glassy Tyranitar. And then after that, I switch into my Magmortar, just thinking that Magmortar has a little bit more maneuverability here. And sure enough, they switch into Stunfisk. So it's really good that I switched into my Shadow Magmortar. I was thinking that Shadow Magmortar's ability to charge quickly and to access both Fire Punch and Thunderbolt would be enough to give it an edge versus whatever the opponent had in the back. And sure enough, they have a Stunfisk in the back. And I'm able to actually shield up this Rock Slide. Even a Rock Slide would put Shadow Magmortar into Mud Shot downrange. But because the Karate Chop is super effective, I'm able to take down the Galarian Stunfisk. And they have a Galarian Weezing in the back. And so this is pretty much a game over, because Galarian Weezing takes a little bit of time to reach its charge moves, and these Fairy Winds are hitting for not very effective damage. So I'm able to hit 2 Fire Punches there. So went up against a Pokemon that I was triple weak to, a Swampert in the lead, and able to navigate my way out of it just because of the fact that the Shiny Corsola was so unexpected. And the Shadow Magmortar and the Shadow the Shadow Tyranitar were able to take care of business with their backline. It was a very satisfying game there because you don't often see a Corsola, a Shadow Tyranitar, and a Shadow Magmortar, right? Like that's a very rare combination. And it's because of Autorect that I was able to try out this team. So I'm very grateful to the Autorect system. I think that it's a really fun way to play this game. If you guys try out Autorect, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.